Is a good friend, Mr.Geno Bullard. Many of you in basketball arenas and areas of athletics know the name. You'll get to know the name and the person behind the name a bit more. But there's more to Geno Bullard than athlete. He is also an instructor, a teacher, a mentor, a guide, and a friend. He's also joining me in studio with some young men from Noble Preparatory Academy. You'll get to know them as well and find out what they're all about. This is an exciting edition of Youth in Action here on the National Voice of the Bahamas. That's how we do it. It's pre-recorded. It's pre-recorded for a break. Welcome back to Youth in Action. I'm your host, Sean Innis, and as I said, we're talking to Mr. Geno Bullard. I want to say welcome, Mr. Bullard. How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for letting us be here, and it's a great honor.
All right, indeed. It's a pleasure to have you. And of course, I want to go around the horn and have these young men who you brought into the studio with you give us their names as well. Gentlemen?
My name is Sean Dossett.
Speaking to the mic.
My name is Sean Dossett.
All right. Pass the mic around.
My name is Travis Mott.
Travis Mott.
My name is Shamar the Future Burrows.
Shamar the Future Burrows. Okay.
My name is D'Angelo Knowles.
D'Angelo Knowles and
my name is Delroy Granderson.
Delroy Granderson. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being a part of the show today. And, of course, we're going to learn more about you. But we're going to start off with the man himself, who I mentioned at the top of the show, Geno Bullard. Let's talk a bit about Geno Bullard. Mr. Bullard, tell us a bit about who you are. If someone were to ask me who is Geno Bullard, what would you say? Where's Geno Bullard from? Where did he go to school? What was he like as a young man? Your parents, siblings, anything like that? Let us know who Geno Bullard is.
Geno Bullard is a normal person. You know, not too far ago, sat across the table as these young men. You know, trying to find direction, trying to, I guess, find someone who willing to identify with the needs and issues that I had that could help me to balance my life out.
Right.
And because of the many obstacles that I've experienced as a young man, I think it's helped me and made me able to identify more or less with a lot of the issues that's going on with our young men and the problems that they're experiencing.
Right.
A little bit more of the educational side. I've went to St. Anne's, went to SAC, went to a couple of the private schools, graduated in Irving, Texas, and that's basically because of a lot of young issues that I had. That I've been to a lot of schools, so a lot of background in a lot of different areas, and finishing school, was able to come home and not find a lot of employment. So because not having that local education as well, BGCSE and most of the stuff, because I would have graduated in the States, led me to be a bit frustrated, especially not being able to find employment. So I went back off to school and, got some more education. I played some basketball, which I had a very bad accident, turned my ACL. And upon me coming home, I needed to stay, close involved with basketball. That's how I started to coach.
Okay. Started
mentoring and just in my neighborhoods, and started, participating in a lot of the little basketball leagues, the little local leagues in the neighborhood. And I had the opportunity to assist one of my younger community young men in the neighborhood, assisting them with his high school basketball team.
Okay.
And that was pro bono. Did it because I felt the need to assist them. When I was in high school, McQuay was my coach in St. Anne's, and he assisted us, and he did it for free. So I felt my life in a complete circle, trying to just identify what my need was and what my purpose was. And I've been able to follow the path that I know that God has put me on, and that's why I've been able to achieve a lot and things that I've decided to do. So that experience with assisting in basketball led up, into many other opportunities, leading up to where I was at last with Westminster College and being able to accomplish a lot in the basketball arena. But then even with those accomplishments, I still feel like I needed to achieve even more.
Okay.
So that's how we end up with Noble Preparatory Academy, where we want to balance out these young men, by emphasizing, the importance of a quality education, and also still trying to give them, the ability to play sports, but then balancing out everything and putting everything in priority. Because you could have a guy that could score 30 points but can't spell cat or rat, so he's still not even used to himself.
Right.
We can't help him to market him or promote him to anywhere else to try to get him a further education. So we've decided to work from the bottom up and building up a program that will dedicate, our abilities and our resources to mentoring, rehabilitating, educating, and making sure that we have a full young man at the time he's ready to graduate.
Okay.
And plus, we still play basketball. We still are a part of our basketball system, but we just placed that on the back burner for right now.
That's a mouthful indeed, and a lot of information, but good information, and information is something that we can use and we need on a daily basis. Now, you're able to relate with these young men. You're able to reach them and connect with them in a way that others would not be able to. And you mentioned some of the issues and the challenges that you encountered going from school to school. If you don't mind, share with us just a few. You don't have to get into the whole story of it, but if you do, then fine. We welcome that as well. But how is it that you are able to relate with these young men? What makes them able to relate with you? They may not have had any challenges or any issues before in the past, or as they're still going through them right now. They may have the same thing, and you can say to them, young man, listen, I did that, I did this, I did that. Share with us some of the issues that you would have encountered as a young man growing up.
Well, like I said, not too long ago, still looking smooth and sharp. But I was on the other side of the table where you have a young man probably get in trouble in school, and because of a person not knowing his background, they really don't know what's troubling him, what's going on with him personally, but they see a person that's actively getting in trouble. And I think at the time we were not doing proper counseling and diagnosing of our students at that point in time, because if I get in a trouble situation, it was never asking me personal questions to try to find out exactly what's going on internally with me. It's just that, hey, that's you again, or we tired of you, So it's not diagnose, analyze, and let's find a solution to try to get this young man where he need to be mentally. So what happened is you just get expelled. You get sent to another school, and by the time your file reached the other school, you're already a known troublemaker, and you haven't done anything as yet, but the file is traveling with you. And what happened is the minute you do something, here we go again, we was expecting you to be like this, so they already label you and put this brand on you. And no one is trying to help to identify and say, well, listen, tell me what's going on. Sit down with me. Explain to me why you get in trouble so much. I'll share a personal experience. When I was 12, my father got killed. So a lot of times you'll have like kids pranking you in school, and they will say something like, oh, that's your daddy, or that's your father, or your pa, or this or that. But they don't understand that this is actually a sensitive subject to you. So your normal reaction, you get in a fight. If somebody disrespect you, you feel like, because you miss your dad, you're home crying in the middle of the night, but they're not aware of that. And they're making a joke on you, what they feel is a joke, but you inside saying, man, listen, this is very personal. So you react in a certain way, you might end up in a fight. But by the time I get to the office, they're not going to sit down with you and ask you, well, Mr. Bullard, what happened? And you tell them, man, I said, my daddy been dead for years now, and I still ain't figure out what's going on. I know inside, maybe not even as a young man, that I need counseling. I need someone to help me get past this anger issues. But nobody is there to help. So you have this kid that has all this anger inside, and the minute something trigger him off, he just responds. And the school system was not identifying with the fact that no one even knew that I lost my father in any of these schools. All they saw was he got in a fight, he got in trouble. Throw him out. So I stopped to ask the questions because I was that student who didn't get the questions asked too. I know that it's something more than just a rebellious student, or he is just acting out. Got to be an underlying factor. And what we have to do is try to identify with what's going on personally, even as a coach, For us to get the best of our athletes, the best of our students, we have to help to balance them out first.
Who were some of the men as you came up as a young man, you were once 16, 17, 18, 19, once in high school, you had all this energy, and of course you were sensitive to the fact that, you'd lost your father, and of course, once again, I have my condolences. I have no idea what it is. I haven't lost my fathers yet, but I know it must be trying every day, because you need that guide. Every young man needs a father figure to guide them through. But who were some of the young men that the good Lord blessed you with and sent into your life to guide you through, to help you out, to give you some way to express yourself and get all of those energies out? We're going to come to you, young man, pretty soon. We're going to get you in, but we're still focusing on Mr. Bullard. Who were some of the young men who guided you as you are now guiding these young men?
Well, at that point in time, I would say that, especially around the age of 15, 16, when I really needed the guidance the most, was my coach McQuay.
Godfrey McQuay.
Yeah, Godfrey McQuay.
Right.
God bless the dead, and that was someone that was really influential in my life, straight up until the time of his passing, you know, because he actually took the time to ask me, you know, the questions.
How did you guys meet?
Well, actually, from playing mini. I was playing in an association from I was maybe about 8 or 9 years old. And this is the summer league. They have mini, junior, super mini and stuff like that.
Right.
And McQuaid actually was a rival coach.
Oh, okay.
He coached for the Yellow Rockets, and I played for a team with a chip and arm named the Boutards. Right, so we would always end up in the finals or the championship game playing against each other.
Right.
And my coach at the time, he was also influential in my life too, Craig. Father, they used to call him, and they will always go at it, even after the game, right? And but I also recognize the fact that he was a good coach. It's just that he was coaching against the team, so you know my loyalty was to my team.
Right.
It came a summer, at the end of the summer, that my tenure at SAC, I would say, was expired, and
Right.
I had to go to St. Anne's. But upon my going to St. Anne's didn't have a basketball team.
Right.
They was riding horse and playing two-hand touch football. And, you know, you coming from basketball background, you then mad because you ain't going to SAC no more.
Right.
SAC, you know, like 5 times bigger than St. Anne's.
Oh, yeah,
so you walk around SAC
Sporting
one time,
powerhouse.
you was
Yeah,
dead upset because that's
Yeah.
it. You know, you
Right.
dead angry, and you can't even play basketball. They talking about riding horse. Man, I said, listen, this ain't gonna make no sense. But at the time, I ended up meeting a lot of the guys who I played summer league with at St. Anne's, like Vernon, you know,
Vernon
Phil,
Jennings, right.
you know,
Phil Hyler.
Connor, and a lot of these guys who I had relationships with out of school. But I remember now we used to also rivals because I used to go to SAC. But when I came to St. Anne's, we became one common ground now because all of us liked to play basketball, but we didn't have a team. And I knew Mr. McQuaid from the summer league games, and he also lived in the area. He worked in the area that I lived in Oaksfield.
Right.
And I knew he was working at Oaksfield Primary.
Okay.
As security at that point.
Okay.
And so, you know, we took it upon ourselves. Me and Phil Hyler, we went to him one day and we asked him if he'd like to coach our team because we have some good players, but we just need a coach. So man, he volunteered his time. And he went up against big known SAC and all these other schools with a relatively new school that was known not for basketball as St. Anne's.
Right.
And within that first year, man, we chopped down those big schools, and McQuaid and our team, we won our first championship for St. Anne's, and we repeated. We won 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
An upstart team, what made me, you know, so familiar with the road that I'm traveling also with Westminster College.
Right.
Because I see the identical path, you know. There it is that I came from volunteering to being able to win at a level where, you know, especially with an unknown school that had no reputation. And not only to win once, but we win 4 years in a row.
Indeed.
You know, we had 3 undefeated seasons, so it was unbelievable what we were able to accomplish. But McQuaid definitely was a big influence in my life, and also what the obstacles that he helped me to overcome. Mr. Forbes, you know, when I was a SAC. Mr. Forbes is unbelievable. Mr. Forbes is a guy that once you meet him once in your life, you never forget him. Just because of his strong character. And
what's his first name?
Reggie Forbes.
Reggie Forbes, okay.
Reginald Forbes at SAC. Reggie Forbes is a person who says what he means and means what he says. And I've always respected that about his character because he's a no-nonsense person. And I feel like a lot of these guys, I've taken a lot of parts from what I've learned from them over the years because I'm that type of person too. My word means everything to me.
Right.
From I say something, I mean that. And
That's
I
all you
have to. That's all I have. So
Right.
Mr. Forbes is also a big part of my life. I don't think he's aware of that, but just because of what he stood for.
If he hears the
You
show, he
know?
knows now.
I remember I was being a young man. He used to call the night league games, right? And you know, they had a lot of rough guys, man. And I think Mr. Forbes had made a call or something went down, and they was threatening like shut off the lights, and you know, a lot of refs would probably bail out, man. And Forbes stood toe to toe and tell him, man, whatever you all want to do. You know, just him one, and he got this intense look. Like you know, if you go into battle, you won't go with Mr. Forbes because Mr. Forbes he ain't gonna run, he ain't gonna let you down. There's a guy if you going somewhere, you need Mr. Forbes with you,
Right.
Because he ain't gonna back down.
Right. A real warrior.
Yeah, I watched that first time with a bunch of guys in night league, these grown men, and they was like trying to intimidate him, and he just stood his ground and he let him on whatever. You know the old expression. He's a frog jump, and no one jump. And I was like, from that day, I was like, wow, not only that he was the dean of soccer when I was going to soccer, he took a chain from me, he never gave me that back. I wasn't even man enough to ask for that. Even I'm man now, I can't ask for that. But it's just, you know, certain influences and certain things that people leave on you, impressions, and that's why I'm another guy that really impacted my life and helped me to become the person I've become.
I want to get these young men in. They're looking a bit antsy. They're well dressed. Got on the sweater vest, white shirts, long sleeve. They seem to be the color scheme of gray and burgundy. Very preppy, very nice, really well presented as young men. Proud of them, and they actually stand apart from any other school or students I see right now. So, young men, I want to get you in now. We're going to put Coach Geno Bullard, Principal Geno Bullard, Dean Geno Bullard in the hot seat right now. And of course, it's going to be interactive. And I want you to take the mic. Don't be afraid. Now, what happens after this is up to you guys. But I want to ask you, what's your name, young man?
My name is Sean Dorset.
Sean Dorset. How long have you known Mr. Geno Bullard?
I know Geno Bullard about since I was 5. He was my neighbor.
Oh, he was your neighbor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have some history.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
you heard how well he spoke about Mr. Reginald Forbes and Coach Godfrey McQuay. Tell me, as a young man, honestly now, what kind of influence has Mr. Geno Bullard had on your life? And he has had on your life?
Okay, like, my father, like, he never used to take care of me like that good. So it just was my mother alone.
Right.
And Mr. Geno Bullard, he showed me, like, how to be a man. How to be a man in certain situations.
Right.
He showed me, like, if someone comes to fight, don't fight them. Don't make no sense.
Right.
That's risking your life. Just live to see another day.
Right.
So, yeah. So he just showed me how to be a man about certain situations and just live life.
That's one of those potent and positive life lessons Mr. Bullard has taught you.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Young man, you next. Your name? Can I get your name, please?
My name is Travis Mott.
Travis Mott. Good day, Travis Mott. Tell me, how has Mr. Geno Bullard influenced you?
Well, I've known Mr. Geno Bullard for 6 years.
Uh-huh.
He has coached me for about 6 years.
Right.
And
What kind of coach is he?
He's a good coach.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever had to do push-ups or run a couple laps because you didn't do what he told you to do?
You gotta do it. You practice, you gotta do it.
What kind of life lesson has he influenced you with?
And just meeting the man changed my life.
Wow.
Just meeting them changed my life, you know.
Really?
When I was like just coming into Westminster, he came the same time. And I was a little rough around the edges, but I mean, when I started playing ball and see how everybody was playing, I wanted to play ball too. So I just get out there every day. He come there and he coached me, he trained me, and I started loving the game.
Now, when you wanted to play, you changed your attitude, or were you still rebellious? Or did he have to still mold you and be like, hey, now, hey, you're dying what I tell you to do. You got to do it this way, or you show up late, and because you show up late, you can't go on this assignment, or you got to do extra 20 push-ups. How did that happen? You just came right in, and whatever he told you to do, you did? How did it go?
Oh, well.
Yeah. Break down the real story. Give me the real deal.
Well, at the time, I was still a little rough around the edges, you know.
Still a rough around the edges.
Yeah, he still used to come and tell me to do stuff, and I wasn't the smoothest cat neither.
Right.
And I was like, you know,
Your hair nappy, your pants hanging down low.
Man.
Yeah.
And now, that's a whole different thing. Because I see how you present himself, and I just be like, man, I gonna be like that.
And more doors open for you like that.
Yes, sir.
Indeed.
Yeah, but the girls do that.
Okay. All right. There you go. Thank you, Mr. Mott. The future Burrows. Mr. Burrows, how are you, sir? All is well?
I'm good.
How are you? Give us your name, your full name.
Shamar, the future Burrows.
And then you see, and that's something I got to commend you all on, and I'll give you some little information on branding yourself. I have five young men in here. I know Mr. Geno Bullard, but you said the future, and that stands out. So when I saw you again, I remember the future Burrows. I didn't remember your first name, but I remember what you said. And each one of you have to do that, because I know him as No Bull. So here it is now. He has branded himself as well. He is an identity. He's a man. He could take that and put that on a t-shirt. He is Geno No Bull. You ain't going there slunking. You ain't going there playing off or doing fool. You could do the right thing by him. So, Mr. Future Burrows, tell us about yourself, the positive influence Mr. Geno Bullard has had on you.
Well, it started out from Saturday mornings with Coach Geno Bullard from I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And I had personal issues that I needed to overcome, and Coach Geno Bullard was the person who sat down and spoke to me and pinpoint these personal issues that I've had.
Right.
And as he taught me the game of basketball and because he was the person who showed me the right way of doing things and kept me on the right track. Made me the young man that I am today.
Right.
People look at me as role model, as a role model onto their life and as a leader.
Okay.
And as I look at him as a role model onto my life and as a leader. One thing I can say about Coach Geno Bullard, he stood for himself. Like he always told me, stand for something or fall for anything.
Right.
And he was a great leader. He was a man of his word, always. He kept himself groomed and sharp. He was.
That's something you admire about him.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. Right.
There's nothing wrong. Well, back to what I was saying about personal issues. I had issues that I needed to overcome. I still have personal issues at home. I know many of us do.
Right.
And many nights I've cried and needed someone to talk to, and I called up Coach Geno Bullard, and he was there for me. He spoke to me and let me know, Shamar, it's just a life lesson. You got to learn from your mistakes and move on and grow into becoming a better man, a better young man.
Okay.
Everybody goes through life stages and changes. As he said, he has went through from he was 12 years old when his father died.
Right.
But I've learned a lot from him. He took me under his wing. From I was 10 years old, I came up under a lot of great basketball players and role models and mentor.
Right.
Because it was just me in my era, no one else. But I was Simba, the young lion coming up under a bunch of great lions.
Right.
Who has made something out of themselves as they has proceeded through college, through Coach Geno Bullard, and onto a next one.
Indeed.
They're a man working in Canada. I could pinpoint some of their names. Rashad Molly. He studied in Niagara College. He was a great mentor to me. From I was 10 years old, I used to look up to Rashad Molly because he was a good player.
Right.
And as time went by, things changed. He was still a great mentor, but I stick with Coach Geno Bullard, and he was my only coach from I was 10 years old, and that's why I am the man I am today. And I'm looking forward to further my education and probably be better than Coach Geno Bullard.
Well, I don't think he'll have a problem with that. He may want you to go further and go beyond where he's at. Thank you so much, future Burrows. Good day, sir. Your name? Can I get your name?
My name is D'Angelo Knowles.
D'Angelo Knowles. Mr. Knowles, what kind of influence Mr. Bullard has had on you?
He had a very positive influence on me because from, like, before I met him, I was at a bunch of different schools, like St. John's, Princeville, Zion. I went to Virginia to school, and I came back to Westminster where I met him.
Right.
And before I met him, I was, like, rebellious, outlaw, like, didn't care what nobody said, like. But as, like, when I met him, like, it changed me, because the people who was around him at first, they taught me what he was about. So before I knew him, I knew about him, like I knew what he was about.
Right.
So they, like before he had the chance to, like, mold me into the person that I am now, the people that he molded before helped me to turn into the person. Like, they prepared me to be molded by him.
Indeed. Well said. Well said. Well said. Thank you, Mr. Knowles. Let's go to the cameraman, the gentleman who's holding the phone and making sure the moment is recorded. Can I get your name, sir?
My name is Mr. Granderson.
Mr. Granderson, yeah, share with us the influence Mr. Geno Bullard has had on you and is having on you still.
Well, I know Geno Bullard for about 5 to 6 years. Coming from H.O. Nash, it's been a long way for me because I always in trouble. I always getting robbed from my mother because it's only us two living together.
Right.
So it wasn't no father figure around.
Right.
So as I graduated from H.O. Nash, I played in the club Noble. So as I came along, Mr. Bullard teach me a lot of things because my father was never around from I was young.
Right.
So only my grandmother and my mother grew me up. So Mr. Bullard being there for me, I taught me a lot of things. Taught me how to be a man, how to be a man of my word, how to be responsible, and how to groom myself.
Right.
So I'm here today to say thank you, Geno Bullard, and I'm here to bring the young ones behind me to be better than me. And so I'm ready to go off to college and do what I have to do.
Indeed. Those are your goals.
That's all.
Mr. Geno Bullard, these young men's testimonies speak volumes. They speak about what you are doing, what you have done, and what you hopefully will continue to do in the years to come. And of course, though the time is brief and there may be another opportunity for us to get together, this was still a very important time for us to share together. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming by. I know you still have classes today. Mr. Bullard has some things he has to see to, but before he goes or you go anywhere, and of course it comes back to the man from whom we started from, like a complete circle. We're going to come back to Mr. Geno Bullard. Mr. Bullard, these young men have all said what you have done or how you influenced them in their lives. Now for you, I want to ask you, what are your plans going forward for Noble Preparatory Academy, personal achievements of yours? What would you like to see happen? Would you like to see this school, this entity, this unit here become the winningest dream team, Fab 4, Fab 5? What are your plans going forward?
Well, definitely, it's very good to be able to, I guess, get your accolades whilst you're alive, right? Because then a lot of people don't really say things to you when you're still alive, but when you're dead, you come to the funeral, oh, he's a good man.
Yes.
So it's good sometimes to hear that you are being effective and you are affecting people's lives. But I just want to say that we only getting started in what we're doing here, and we definitely would like to take Noble Preparatory Academy, to the level where we can offer assistance to a wide range of different type of people. It's not just an athletic school. It is a school that helps anybody that want to pursue their academics, who want help with defining exactly what their role is and what they need to do.
Where is Noble Preparatory Academy, in case folks want to know?
Noble Preparatory Academy is located in Nassau Street in the Base Road Business Plaza above Pro's Photo.
Okay.
All right, so we have started our institution there, and we want it to be small enough that we can get the desired results that we want.
Okay.
All right, so we are improving and we will be growing as we grow mentally with our facilities.
Indeed.
All right, so we already had a graduation class last year that we have all of our graduates in college, and we are affiliated with Niagara College, so all of our students that once they graduate, we can easily filter them straight into the college.
Okay.
All right, so it's a great thing that we are preparing these young men for, not just to play the game, but to understand the game of life and understand exactly how to set goals and achieve goals, and realize that they can receive an education even through their academic side. Right. Just not through sports and coaches promising them and can deliver, I could get you to Division I, I could do this, I could do that, and at the end of the day, these young men on the streets. All right, so it's important what we're doing, and we want to be able to offer this type of service to anybody who needs that type of preparation in life with their academics, giving them good standards and morals and guidelines and a structure to be able to follow, and very able to follow and see success. Right. Because we have persons who have sat in the class with them last year who are in college right now. Right. So it is a tangible object that you can achieve. And we want to be able to put education in the forefront, especially to our young men.
Indeed.
So we are growing. We definitely are going to continue to push the boundaries of, trying to incorporate the total student athlete. But it's not just a student athlete based school. I just want to make sure to get everybody clear about that.
All right.
We welcome anybody that needs that type of assistance and trying to get there, especially young men, but we do have young ladies too.
Okay.
All right, it's a boys' school, but we definitely know that ladies need assistance as well.
Indeed.
So we open the doors to just about everybody. We will be growing, and we want to see this institution grow to a point where that we can be on the level of some of the bigger schools. But it's important for us to start small so we can make sure set our foundation right. Indeed. And then from there we can continue to grow. Well
said. Mr. Geno Bullard, of course, of Noble Preparatory Academy. I want to thank you, Mr. Dorset, Mr. Mott, Mr. Burrows, Mr. Knowles, and Mr. Granderson, and also to Mr. Geno Noble Bullard. Thank you so much for coming in and being a part of the show, Youth in Action. I wish you all the best, every success. May God continue to bless you and keep you safe, keep your family safe, and do well. And, of course, the sky is the limit. Thank you so much. All right?
Same deal.
This was another exciting edition of Youth.